Welcome back to the channel, guys. Donnie D back at you. Today I got another video. This one's based on my blog. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Donnie D back at you again for another video. And today we're going to talk about a blog post of mine, which I'll link in the description or kind of pin in the comments section below. How long does a tile installation last? So what I'm going to do here today is I'm going to read off this small blog that I wrote here. Now, so I just want to start by telling you that tile is a floor covering, okay? To keep it short, if you just want to know how long it'll last, well, in a perfect world and everything is installed properly, you know, you're talking upwards of 50 years out of a tile installation. So it's not a temporary floor covering like vinyl, carpet, laminate, anything like that. Now, you're going to basically, to keep it short at the beginning here, if you want to stay tuned to the end, I go into details. But for right now, so it'll last up to 50 years. If you want a temporary floor covering, you want to use something else. But tile is meant to last a long time. Now, that said, it's a premium product, so you're going to pay that higher cost up front, but you actually save money in the long run. So you'll spend your money at first, but you'll save a lot in the long run. You won't have to change out like a carpet every 5, 10, 15 years, depending how it's used. Laminate flooring, which is basically cardboard and plastic, it's meant to be down for a while. It's easy to clean. And you know, at the time of this recording, we have the COVID going around the whole world, so it's, you know, it's going to be something that you keep clean easily, you know, sanitary. It's not going to hold like stuff like carpet wood or things like that. And overall, it's just a long-lasting install. That's why you see it in many places. But for right now, I'm just going to go through my blog here. If you want to stay tuned and just so I can explain to you, you know, what can make, well, let me start off by saying this. I'm going to read off my blog right here. Now, we're going to start off with what can make or break the tile installation. I'm reading this right off my blog. Here are a few examples that can make the install last. Number one, substrate needs to be structurally sound. So to keep it in layman's terms, you could say, you know, the floor or the wall just needs to be strong. Nothing moving around too much, otherwise the tile will crack or the grout will crack. You don't want too much movement. Tile can handle some, but too much, too excessive, and something's going to break. That goes with anything, right? Number two, proper mortar coverage. So I've had another video on this on blog as well, but basically in dry areas you need 80 to 85% coverage. In wet areas you need 90 to 95% coverage on the back of the tile with the mortar. Now I've seen a lot less without problems, but that's what you want to aim for, and that way it's going to last. Number four, proper expansion and contraction joints. Now still to this day, like I've come across a lot of jobs where they just grout in all the inside corners, the you know, anywhere there's a change of plane, so you have something that kind of meets a floor, meets a wall here and there, and they just grout here. Now that's going to give, they're going to both expand and contract, so what's going to happen over time is that grout joint could crack and it'll eventually fall out the joint. I've had a couple cases where I've used even regular acrylic caulk where a countertop meets a wall of a tile backsplash, and 3-4 years later the client calls and tells us a crack along it because if you use acrylic caulk, which will be all right, it might not crack, but an exterior wall, it's more chance of it cracking because exterior walls, you know, are going to expand and contract more, and acrylic caulk only really expands a little bit. To keep it simple, if you use 100% silicone, that'll expand and contract a lot more, so you won't have those issues. So that's what's going to make it last. So what can break an install? So what can make it fail? Well, bad wavy substrate. So when I talk about bad and wavy substrates, I'm talking about floors that are up and down like this, walls are in or out. It's not flat, and if a guy comes in there, they don't do the prep work, the contractor doesn't do the proper prep work, and then just spot on and are adding too much thin set here and there, exceeding the amount allowed by the manufacturer, well, something's going to give. So prep your substrates. It's the most critical part of a good tile install, and it'll last. Number 2, not structurally sound substrates. So like I was saying before, something that's not strong, either floor is not strong enough, you're on top of wood, it's not made for tile, or your walls moving around, you know, basically just not strong enough. Number 3, lack of coverage. Like I said, you want a good amount of mortar on there, the back of the tile, that way nothing's moving around and it's stuck on there, it's going to hold nice and strong. And number 4, lack of expansion and contraction joints. So like I said, I mean, I've seen on floors where there's no base molding, guys just still grout that joint between the wall and the floor, and you want to just leave that open, especially if you have base molding going on. If you just have base molding and tiling up to the base, well, you got to give it somewhere to go, and you usually want to go within a 1/4 inch, no less than about 1/8 or so on a floor, and that way it has somewhere to expand, contract, and allow the whole assembly to move, because everything moves, right? And wood and tile expands, contracts at different amounts, so you want to give it somewhere to go. So give it somewhere to give. I'll read off more on the blog here. So glazed tile on the lower end can wear off. You know, we'll talk about, you know, exactly how long does a tile last, how long does install last. Well, if you get like a cheaper ceramic tile, it's on a floor or whatever, that glazing can wear off over time in heavy traffic areas, but you can get that re-glazed. So not something that I specialize in, but things like that, if you have a nice through body porcelain, will hold up a long time. And if you have like a stone tile, well, then you can just kind of buff out the top of the surface and bring back that shine. And I'm just mentioning here, in most cases, the substrate behind the tile will actually fail before the tile itself. Pretty crazy, right? That's what usually happens. So I'm just mentioning here again, you know, tile is a premium floor covering. You're going to pay up front, you'll save in the long end. Why do you think every commercial building, like hotels, restaurants, you know, the car dealerships, they have these things, right? I mean, look at car dealerships. They have a tile in the showroom. They're driving cars on it, right? Driving cars on tile. What does that tell you? That's a heavy traffic floor, and that's what they want down because they know it's going to last. So that's all I got here for you guys today about how long does a tile installation last. Just a quick recap, it'll last up to 50 years if the substrate and everything is maintained and done properly, right? So if you really want something that's going to last you a long time and you're going to pay one time up front, tile is where you want to be. So I hope this video helped you today. If you have any questions at all, feel free to leave it in the comment section below, or contact me, email, whatever you prefer, and I'm here to help you one way or another. Thanks for tuning in. Donnie D, signing off.